Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for League of Legends. In this video we're going to be looking at one of the team comps that was introduced, I guess a couple patches ago. I don't know exactly which one it was at this point, but it's one that attracted a lot of attention. In fact, it attracted a disproportionate amount of attention to how often it's actually been used, and that is the Woodland 6 team composition, Woodland 6. So the way that you make Woodland 6 is you have to have every single Woodland unit that pops up normally in the game, and then you also have to have a Woodland Lux. That is the only way that you can make a Woodland team composition. So spoiler alert right now, we are going to have a Woodland Lux in this game eventually. Now this is a map where I believe this is a Earth map, if I'm remembering this correctly and reading that initial one. Yep, so it has the Earth hex. I did not get what I was going for on the initial carousel. I believe I was going for a needlessly large rod, but I end up getting a chain vest that's seen as being one of the weakest items in the current setup for teamfight tactics, and most people don't try to go for this. So this is, I should also mention, this is a normal game. I was able to play myself up to the rank that I wanted for this season of teamfight tactics, that being Platinum. So once I reached Platinum 4, I was content to stop there. And I am playing mostly normal games just for fun at this point. So this is a normal game. Yes, Braum takes forever to kill the minions. He takes very little damage, but he takes absolutely forever to kill them. So I have the Braum to start. I don't really want Braum, so I believe I'm going to look to sell him. And I end up, at the beginning of this game, I pretty much just start getting Woodland champs almost immediately. So I get the LeBlanc in a drop from one of the early, from that initial minion round. And then I get double Maokai as the second, as the drop from the second minion round, and I was like, all right, well, if I can get either an Ivern or a Nico, I can look to play Woodland Druid, which is of course really good for the early game, and look to scale off of that and go into something else. We'll see what else it could go into. I did pick up some mages here, so maybe look to go into mages eventually, but we'll see. I should reiterate, and look, there's Ivern, so I was like, all right, well, I've got a Woodland Druid set up here, so we'll put in the Ivern and put in the LeBlanc, and there we go. We've got Woodland Druid just like that. All one-star champs, but we do have Woodland Druid. These two traits pretty much pair together because the champs that have them, champs that have one trait almost always have the other trait as well. So Druid is the easier to understand. Druid provides health regeneration. I believe you get 45 health regen per second. This is quite good in the early game where people don't hit very hard. It's basically useless in the late game. Also, there's only Druid 2. You can't like make anything else with this, just the Druid 2, that's it. Woodland's a little bit more interesting. When you have Woodland 3, one of your champions gets cloned, so one of the Woodland champs will randomly get picked to be cloned at the start of the fight. By the way, I could potentially make Diana 2-star here, but it doesn't fit into this comp all that well. I probably should have just made the Diana 2-star and played her, just because she's good for the early game. Decided not to go that route in this particular game. What I am looking to do is to try to make something out of these items. I don't really like the items I have all that much right here, so I'm going to look to create the Guardian Angel just because that is something that I can use later on pretty much anyone, and so I'm going to go ahead and just stick that on the LeBlanc. She is not intended to be the long-term holder for that item, but she can hold it for right now. As I mentioned before, so the Woodland 3 gives you a cloned unit. We ended up getting a cloned Ivern in that particular round. So again, Woodland 3, very good in the early game. Woodland Druid's one of the strongest early pairings that you can get. And it usually allows you to win the early rounds. Like right now, I have no 2-star champs at all. I just had 3 1-star champs, but I'm still able to win that round. Of course, the player I was up against didn't have any 2-star champs either, so there's that. I could look to sell some champs here to get to 10 gold, but I don't want to do that. Everything on my bench is something I might potentially want to play, except probably the Ornn, but selling the Ornn will not get me there. So here I get some luck. I am able to pick up another Maokai to get 2-star Maokai, and I also find a Nico, so I can drop the Ivern. Maybe should have held on to him, but I ended up selling him. In part because if I win this round, that does get me to 10 gold, although I could get that by selling Ivern as well. The Nico is just a stronger champion than the Ivern, so usually if you're playing a normal Woodland Druid opening, you don't need both of them, you just need one or the other. By the way, there is a Zephyr out there. I don't know if you spotted that, but one of the players already has a Zephyr. I was okay if I hit the Zephyr person because the unit that would get Zephyred would be the Nico, who is not the strongest unit in my setup. Maokai is kind of the strongest in terms of tanking, and then LeBlanc is there to deal damage. So we get the clone LeBlanc on this particular round. This is a tough round to win because the enemy team has quite a few 2-star champions here, And I'm looking at this, I'm like, all right, I am not going to win this. Maybe if LeBlanc were hitting the Ornn, I'd be okay. Because like, look how much health she gets back from the Guardian Angel. But nope, she's using all her abilities on the full health Leona. So I'm going to sell the Ornn here to get to 10 gold. So there we go. Get that extra income from hitting the 10 gold threshold. But here we get more luck. Get another Nico. I was like, all right, well, got another Nico. So I was going to play the Vlad here. And this is where it's a shame I don't have the Ivern, because the Ivern would be better to slot in here. He would take advantage of the Druid health regeneration. But I figured I'll just grab Vhagar and play him for this round. He's the most useful 1-star champ I can think to throw in here. Either him or Ezreal, or maybe Soraka. I guess they're all 3-cost champs, but I've got mages on the bench, so it makes more sense to grab the Vhagar, who might be able to get me up to 3 mages eventually. So we go with that. Won the first round, lost the second round. I'm pretty confident that I'm stronger than this person. This person, Insomnia Thing, is also running Woodland Druid, and actually would normally have a pretty strong setup, but I think what I have is a little bit better. Having a 2-star Nico is very good this early in the game. She's going to output a lot of damage. Especially when the enemy champs are clumped up together like they are here. The enemy champs are also hitting the LeBlanc, but she's just going to come back to life because she's got that Guardian Angel. So we are able to win this fight, and even though that enemy team was pretty strong, end up winning it by a pretty decisive fashion overall. Well, here we go, back to the carousel yet again. I was looking at my items. I would really like to get that needlessly large rod. I could put it on Nico and make a Morellonomicon, which would be really helpful. Health debuff, just also one of the best ways to use that Giant's Belt. The Giant's Belt itself is not that great, so if you can compare it with the needlessly large rod, get Morello's, that is kind of a pretty good carry item. So like I said, I could look to put that on Nico and have her be the early game carry. She won't be double casting like mages have a chance to do if you can get up to 3 mages, but she will be outputting a lot of damage, and of course she has a chance to clone herself with Woodland 3. So far so good. I've lost 6 health, lost one of these rounds. It's a little unfortunate I lost that because otherwise I could be win streaking right now. So that's not a possibility, but I'm in pretty good economic shape, sitting here at 20 gold, a little bit lower than what would be perfectly ideal, but still looking pretty good overall. And I've got a clear plan. I'm going to look to go into mages later on. So I've got a strong setup right now, and I'm also working towards something decent later on. As far as some of these other team comps, the top person, 97 Edison, is both undefeated and has a lot of gold, which is a really nice combo. I was trying to switch these two because I saw that there was that player with the Zephyr, and unfortunately I'm just a little bit slow, which is too bad because the Nico does get Zephyred out, and that's, like I said, unfortunate because she is the biggest part of our damage. By the way, really nice Thresh Shield. Hits like the entire enemy team. But we do have the other Nico, who, we did get a Nico clone, which is the best champ to get cloned, and that Morellonomicon just did a tremendous amount of work. So even though I don't do a great job on the positioning, the double Nikos carry the day here, and we're able to get like 1,500 damage from both of them, and that wins the round against someone who I think arguably had a stronger comp than me, but like if LeBlanc had been cloned, there's a good chance I lose that round. So that's part of the randomness inherent in this team comp. So I'm going to make the Vlad 2-star here, and I'm going to look to play him over the Vhagar. I would love to level and get them both, and I'm trying to think if I did end up leveling here. I think I wanted to look at the other comps and see how strong I was, because obviously I would like to play the I would like to play 3 mages here to get the chance for double casting, but if I in order to do that I'd have to spend 8 gold, and that's quite a lot to spend on leveling. So ultimately I'm going to pass that up right here, and I'm not sure why I did that particular swap. I had been worried about the Zephyr, but I just hit the first round of Zephyr, so that's not likely to be an issue. Fortunately, I hit this comp, which doesn't seem to have a whole lot. I guess it has Glacial, but the good news is the Nico ults, the Nico Pop Blossom just wrecks that team comp, and that gets me to 30 gold. So winning that round was super important. I hit 30 gold. I maintain a 3-match win streak. I do not have to sink money in leveling. And I'm able to just continue econing here, which is what I want. I want to build up that econ, want to take advantage of this early game strength to go towards stronger champs later on. Like, I could buy another Nico. I could try to Nico 3-star. To be perfectly honest, if I'd known I was going to be heading towards a Woodland 6 comp, I would have done that. But I was not intending to play a Woodland 6 comp. I was not looking to 3-star any of these champions. So I go ahead and level. That allows me to put the Vhagar in as well. And this gets the 3 mages in. So 3 mages means I have a chance to double cast. 50% chance for the mages to double cast. It won't affect the Nico, but it will affect the Vlad, the Veigar, and the LeBlanc there in the back lines. Woodland Druid tends to go into mages pretty well because you can play LeBlanc, who is herself a mage. She is almost always not in an endgame mage setup, but she does have that property. You also works well with assassins. You can do the same thing and go into assassins because LeBlanc is also an assassin. She is Woodland plus assassin plus mage. So you can do the same thing with assassins as well. And there I end up getting, what is it? I get a needlessly large rod and a sparring glove. So I can look to make a jeweled gauntlet, which is nice. Oh, and apparently I had one other item too. I forgot that I was missing the recurve bow. Or I could make Last Whisper or Rage Blade, so there's some different possibilities here. Some pretty good stuff. So I grab the next Veigar when he pops up. Grab the Malphite, because at this point I'm still planning to drop the Woodland Druid and go into kind of a more standard mage-based setup. I'm going to put Nico in the center of my comp because that's the safest place for her to be. And I'm thinking at this point that I'm going to get the Malphite and the Talia in at some point and make Mountain, just because it's a nice combination. For right now, though, we're going to continue to rely on Nico as the carry and make Jeweled Gauntlet. My thinking is these items will be transferred over to like a brand later on in the game. Now, a word about this team comp. See that there's the Yasuo with the Bloodthirster and the Infinity Edge. In this particular patch, Yasuo has gotten to be extremely popular, and that's because Yasuo has basically been overbuffed in this patch. Yasuo was seen as being one of the weaker units in the game until he just kept getting buffed again and again and again. And people realized that like you could start stacking certain items on him and he could just be like almost unkillable. The main ones, this person, Zave22, didn't quite have the right items on Yasuo. Ideally you get Hand of Justice because you can take advantage of either the extra damage or the life on hit. Both of them are quite good. By the way, in light of how this game would go later on, I really wish I'd picked up the Double Ivor in here, but didn't know that the game was going to head in that direction, to say the least. So yeah, Yasuo, he was seen as a weak champ. He received quite a few buffs. He has clearly been overbuffed at this point in time. You put like Guardian Angel, Hand of Justice, Infinity Edge, those are kind of the items you want. When he uses his ultimate, he seeks out and hits whoever has the most items on your team. So Yasuo is very hard to kill because he keeps getting health back every single time he ults, and he also will he'll take out whoever's the most important champion on your team. So it's very annoying, and like I said, he will definitely be nerfed in like the next patch. The good news is I get a really good Nico ult here. It like literally hit the entirety of the enemy team. So we're able to work around the Yasuo in this match. Like the only thing you can do to stop Yasuo is use crowd control on him. And since you can't really control what your champs do in-game, there's not a lot that you can do in that regard. So the good news is I keep winning here. I keep like win streaking off of this. I'm actually going to get more big hits here. I get the Veigar 2-star and I pick up another LeBlanc to work LeBlanc towards LeBlanc 2-star. So I'm quite strong. I've got 5 champs, and 4 of the 5 are 2-stars, and I'm still running Woodland Druid, and I'm still running Mage, and like Veigar 2-star deals a lot of damage. He's a pretty good option for this stage of the game. If he double casts his ult, even if he has no items, he does a lot of damage. He doesn't do well against a summoner setup because he often will ult the little whatever the little summons are, but he's pretty good against a lot of other setups. That said, this is a pretty good enemy team here. The good news is that LeBlanc is going to... Well, I thought LeBlanc was going to use her ult on the Diana, who was carrying those items. So, like, yeah, Veigar ulti does not double cast here. The issue, though, is there's too many little summons right here. I don't have a great way of doing them. Also, what was that ult from Nico? She, like, ulted nothing. So, it does look like we're going to lose this round, but the good news is we're not going to take a lot of damage. See, like, Veigar did not ult the Maokai. He ulted the little minion instead. Veigar did 3,200 damage. So I do lose. It ends the winning streak. That's unfortunate, but if you're going to lose a round, you want to lose it like that, where you barely take any damage. We are back to the carousel again. You see me hovering the LeBlanc. I'm like, all right, well, I would love that LeBlanc. I do not expect her to be there because she's got a needlessly large rod, but that would make LeBlanc 2-star and would also get me yet another needlessly large rod that can be built into another useful item. So I'm not expecting that champ to still be there, but I will certainly take it if it is, because that would be quite nice. Now, of course, it's gone. You know, sad days, not really a surprise. So instead, I wanted the needlessly large rod. It's not there. So I was like, I guess I'll take the Negatron cloak. Didn't really have anything good to make out of any of these items because I'm not playing an attack, what is it, an AD group of champs. I can't really do a lot to take advantage of the recurve bow. Maybe the recurve bow would have been better anyway. I could have made what's the item? The rapid fire cannon. That probably would have been better, but oh well. I can make the Ruden's Hurricane, and at this point in time, I'm thinking Ruden's Hurricane. This is not really a good item, but you know what? I'm going to be selling these Woodland Druid champs. It's probably only a round or two until I sell them and replace the Maokai with Malphite. I don't know why it took me a minute to think of that. I was like, it's only going to be a round or two until I sell that Maokai and replace him with Malphite. So I'll just stick the Ruden's Hurricane on him for right now. He's going to come out of the comp any minute now. Needless to say, that's not what ended up happening, but anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So this is the This is a little bit better in terms of items on Yasuo. The Bloodthirster plus the Hand of Justice. The really important thing is we get the Morellonomicon on there to debuff him, and we also get the chains from LeBlanc to crowd control him. So with that setup, we're able to take out the Yasuo, which like half the people in the lobby seem to be playing because that's really popular right now. If you're watching this video on a later date, you'll be like, why are so many people playing Yasuo? This is really weird. He's a 2-star champion, but he was overbuffed in this patch, and he was really popular at the time. So anyway, I am thinking right now, level 6, I'm in pretty good shape economically. I'd like to be, ideally I'd be a little bit further along, but I'm in first place in health, if not by a ton. I'm well positioned here for a top 4 finish. What I need to do is manage the transition out of Woodland Druid, look to go into Ocean Mage Warden, as I would typically be expecting to do. Try to find Brand. There's a couple other people playing Brand, so that he's not, it's going to be a little bit tricky to try to get that, but that's the idea. Look to try to find Brand. If I can maybe find a Mage Cap somewhere, I could look to go into 6 Mages. If I can't find a Mage Cap, I'm probably going into 3 Mages. But like as of right now, I'm definitely much stronger than this comp. That Brand has really good items, very good items, but I do a lot of damage because the rest of his team is not very strong. And that person, 97 Edson's taking quite a bit of damage. He's been econing super hard, but I mean he's lost 50 health to get to that point. So he's either gonna have to find something really soon or he's gonna be out of the game. Meanwhile, I'm still just leveling along here. I'm going to look to level after Wolves. Again, standard stuff. Note that I am not stacking Woodland Druid. If you were like for an ideal Woodland 6 game, you would be trying to 3-star your Woodland Druid champs, but you can't reliably play Woodland Druid, or excuse me, you can't reliably play Woodland 6. It's too gimmicky. The odds of finding a Woodland Lux are like really low because you not only have to find a Lux, which is always inherently risky to begin with, but you have to find one specific Lux. I mean, there's like, what, 10 different Luxes? So yeah, this is not, like Woodland 6 is not a reliable comp. Do not expect to play Woodland 6. So here I am, I go to level 7, I'm looking to roll down, I find the LeBlanc 2-star, which is pretty cool. I'm not finding anything there, but there it is. I'm like, oh my god, it's Woodland Lux. I can play Woodland 6. Now I need Ivern. I'm missing Ivern, so that's why I said before, I was like, oh, I wish I'd found Ivern earlier. So I'm actually not sure I want to play him right this I'm not going to look to play the Woodland Lux right this second. But if I can find the Lux, I can actually do this. I can play Woodland 6, which of course you guys know because it's in the title of this video. But I did not know it at the time. So change of plans. We won't be selling that Maokai. We'll be holding on to him. We'll be holding on to all of our champions here. And I will be looking to... Now, I will have to sell the Nico, because I'm going to have to transfer Nico's items over to... LeBlanc. Or not LeBlanc. I'm going to have to transfer them over to Lux. By the way, look how ridiculous this Yasuo is. Remember how I said he was overbuffed? So we do manage to kill him with literally the entire team sitting here. That Yasuo had like perfect items. And by the way, there's a brand. So that's good news. I definitely want to try to get him into the comp somehow. He doesn't have any items, he's 1-star. Yeah, see, people are like, they're not happy about Yasuo, we'll just leave it at that. But it is ridiculous. So that person had Hand of Justice, he had the Infinity Edge, and what was his third item? Bloodthirster or something like that? He literally just like ults one time and his whole health bar is refilled. It's really dumb. A 2-cost champion should not be that strong. not a 2-cost 2-star champion. People are running like this dinky little early game unit as their late game carry, and it's working, which should not be the case. Now, unfortunately, Nico gets a really bad ult there. She ulted the Nocturne, which is okay, but like she would have done much better to toss her ult into the middle of the enemy team's comp. Like if she had hit the like the Kindred and the Cog with her ult instead, then Veigar's ults would have finished them off, and we would have been much stronger. So that round did not go especially well, and this is a little bit of the problem. Like I've been running Nico as my carry for a while, which is really good for the early game. But I mean, she is a 2-cost champion. What you'd ideally be looking to do is to transfer her items over to like Brand or to like the Lux, which is the plan here, to transfer the items over to the Lux. Just to apply that Morelos to more people and get the Jeweled Gauntlet more in play as well. So what I've got is okay for right now. I need to go to 8. I really want to get to level 8 so I can find more Luxes. And I also need to find Ivern. Remember, I'm missing Ivern. I can run Woodland 5, but I can't run Woodland 6 here. So my comp is getting outscaled, and that's to be expected at this point in time. Also, that Scion ult really did a lot of damage. We had been able to kill Scion ahead of time. That would have been nice. So yeah, you can see I've got a lot of people on this enemy team low, but didn't manage to kill too many of them. Nico did do 3,600 damage, but she's fallen off at this point. She's an early game unit, and you can't really keep running her this late in the game. I'm well aware of this. I'm just trying to get up to level 8 and hoping that I can find Ivern. Unfortunately, there's no other unit that will do. I must have Ivern or I can't make Woodland 6. So here we go with another carousel here. I am going to be, even though I've lost a couple of rounds, I was really high on health, and again, that is one of the benefits of having a strong early game. Even if you don't transition great, and like I haven't really made a transition into a late game setup yet, because you've stacked so much health from the early game, you're in good shape to stick around and still be a factor. Here, there's not all that much I'm looking for specifically. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Annie because she's a 4-cost unit, and she gives me the needlessly large rod, so I can make something out of that. Can definitely make something. If nothing else, I can make a locket out of that by combining it together with the chain vest that's over there. Plus, it also gets me up to 50 gold, which is really nice. And I am still expecting, I'm expecting to lose these rounds right now. I don't expect that I'm going to win. But in order to try and keep the bleeding from getting too bad, I'm going to look to make the locket. And I believe I'm going to put it on the LeBlanc, if I remember correctly here, just so I can get some extra health. And I'm going to make sure I can put that on as many champs as possible. I want to get it on all 5 champs. Locket provides an extra health shield on all the champs that are standing within 2 tiles in the same horizontal row. So watch, everybody in that back line is going to get extra health, and that's going to help out. It also is helpful to put that on LeBlanc because these Yasuos might go for the LeBlanc instead of going for the Nico, because that's who I want them to go after. And fortunately, that is indeed what happened. The LeBlanc got hit by the Yasuo ultimate, so that's helpful. And we do manage to get the Morelos debuff on Yasuo. So once again, hey, what's the last champion? It's Yasuo, and he's still jumping around. The good news is Nautilus gets his ult off, gets the knockup. Again, the only way to deal with Yasuo right now. Overbuffed. Very, very clearly overbuffed in past patches. In the meantime, though, so that round went okay. I was happy to win that round. I kind of wasn't expecting to win any of these rounds right now, to be perfectly honest. I grabbed the Talia just in case I get lucky and get a mage cap, because that could maybe get me up to 6 mages. But I am a little stuck between different things here. Like I'm kind of stuck between trying to run a traditional Ocean Mage setup and trying to run this very gimmicky Woodland 6 setup. If I can find another Woodland Lux, though, or excuse me, if I can find an Ivern, though, I think I'll have a shot. Because, I mean, this is a normal game, so I'm, like, willing to go with the setup that's probably subpar just because I want to try something different. Unfortunately, that Malphite got a really good ult against my team, and then he got another ult off as well. And that's buying time for their Brand to do what Brand does and have his ult go off. Also, right there, LeBlanc stuns the wrong person. LeBlanc stuns the Syndra instead of stunning Brand. If her ult stuns Brand, I think we maybe win this fight, because look how low Brand gets there. But no, unfortunately, LeBlanc chains the wrong person. So, that's life for you sometimes. That was a close fight. I could have won that with a little bit better RNG. One of the downsides to running the Locket is your units group up, and when they group up, that means they're Malphite baits, or another champ that has an area of effect ultimate like that. Also, would be bad against something like Nami, but yeah, Malphite ulted right into some of my key champs, ulted into the Nico and into the Veigar, and stop them from getting a lot of their damage out. This is, of course, a minion round, so we're going to be looking to see what we can find here. So we are going to end up getting a Nico's help, so that's pretty good. We're going to get some more money as well. And look what I've got. I've got a chain, I've got a belt and a sword. So there's the Ivern. I was like, oh, cool, Ivern. This is great. Let's do this. So I need to look to swap over to Woodland 6, and there it is, Woodland 6. Now I want to switch these items away from Nico and onto Lux, so we'll do that. Sell the 2-star Nico, put the Jeweled Gauntlet and the, what's the other word? Oh, and then I also find another Lux, and then there's the Nico's help, and we've immediately got the 2-star version of the Lux. I was like, oh my god. So now we've got Woodland 6, and we've got a Lux with like legitimately good items here. This is pretty darn good. So we've got double Luxes here, so they're gonna need to get those lasers off. And I do have the Morellos on the Lux over here, but unfortunately we still end up getting taken out. And I was like, what's going on here? What happened? Well, the answer is that Brand has really, really good items too, and unfortunately the 2 Luxes just got taken out by the bouncing Brand ult. Even the 1-star Brand did a lot of damage. I was like, huh. Kind of thought that would go better with the double Luxes. I mean, my positioning is not 100%. I really should have the Lux in the middle of the team comp, not in the corner. There's just too many threats that you can have when you're in the middle of the comp. I also do want 3 mages in here, so I'm looking at what I can play. And Vlad 2-star that makes Ocean is probably better than Brand 1-star that doesn't make anything. Now, I could take the Veigar out and play Brand. I can't remember if that's what I'm going to look to do. And since I've got these items, I might as well use them. So we'll get the full item stacking with the Locket and then also the Zeeks. And we'll look to play this and see if this is any bit better. So yeah, there's the Woodland 6. Woodland 6, all Woodland units copy themselves. I don't know if I actually said that before, but yeah, that's how it works. So Lux gets off her ult. She does get hit by Yasuo, unfortunately. And she only gets off 1 ult. She was hit by Yasuo the 2nd time. So there's that Yasuo again. Does get CC'd by the LeBlanc, but unfortunately there's a bunch of Yorick ghouls popping around, and one of the downsides is having all those Yasuos is he's going to keep jumping on the Lux. So I think the positioning of my Lux was not ideal here. I went ahead and leveled to 9. I just went ahead and sacrificed my whole econ to do that, just because I wanted to get another unit in play here. I felt like I needed more in the way of units. I think in retrospect, what I should have done is get up to Ocean 4. I really needed the Ocean 4. What Lux needs is to get Ocean 4 so she ults faster. And I think it was a mistake not to do that. Like, I could have taken out... what did I have here? I could have played Syndra over Brand, and I could have gotten Thresh into the comp as well. So I think that might have been better. Once again, you see the Yasuo. There's a Yasuo in like every single game going off here. Once again, but fortunately that time we managed to get the Yasuo off of us, and we're actually looking pretty good in this match. So yeah, we actually win that round, because that was one round where Lux didn't get blown up right away at the start of the fight. But here we're gonna get something that makes another discovery. I was like, oh my god, there's a mage cap on the carousel. There's a mage cap there. I was like, can I go 6 mages with Woodland 6? Can I get my Lux double casting? Oh my god. Let's try. Like, I was like, I have to try this. I don't know if this is particularly good, but I have to at least try this, because I've already got 4 mages. I can get 5 if I put in the mage cap in, and if I take out the Nautilus, I can put in Syndra, and that's 6 mages. I was like, all right, we got to do this. Like, we've got to try this. This is way too cool not to run this. So there we go, and let's move. We got to move the Nautilus out. And there we go, Woodland 6 and 6 mages. Like, I don't really have words for this. This is really cool. So Lux will clone herself at the start of every fight, along with every other Woodland champ. And I will also have her, she is also guaranteed to double cast. And I go ahead and sell all these champs because there's no room for them. I'm at level 9, there's no more slots. I would really like to get Ocean 4, but there's just no way to do that. I need, if I'm going to run 6 mages and 6 Woodlands, I have no choice but to do this. Unfortunately, though, what happens? Master Yi instantly kills. Unfortunately, I instantly get blown up there. I was like, oh my god, what was that? Well, what happened was Insomnia Ping is running a Shadow 6 comp. He's got a Shadow Lux, he's got Shadow 6, and he He also has a Master Yi with really good items. So I was like, all right, I'm probably not beating that comp. Right now I'm looking to 2-star some of these champs that I've got. So like, I'm trying to find Brand here in particular. That's why I'm rolling down on all these 4-cost champs. So there's a Brand. Can I grab him? Normally I would be grabbing Malphite there, but nope. And there's another Brand, and oh, I missed the Brand. Oh, rolling too fast. I could have had Brand 2-star, and that really would have made a big difference in this match. Just because Brand does so much more damage. Now this is a Brand with no items, but oh my god. I would have had another big damage dealer if I'd managed to get that. So, unfortunate. And of course, with those Yasuos popping up in every match, he's annoying. But this is one match where the double Luxes were just ulting at an insane amount. So yeah, 10,000 damage from Lux. That was pretty impressive. It was just laser, 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 laser. So I was like, all right, cool, that works. But if you notice what I didn't find, look at what I wasn't getting. No Nico's, Nico's still 1-star. No Syndra's, Syndra's 1-star. No Iverns. Now, admittedly, Ivern is a 1-cost champ, so you're not going to see a lot of Iverns at this stage of the game, but I certainly could have found more of these other champs. Still, not having Brand 2-star is a really big miss. Like, that's a huge whiff, not getting Brand and having all that extra damage on him. The other thing that's really hurting this comp is there's kind of two things. I don't have Ocean 4. That would really help because Lux has fairly high mana costs. Like, once she ults, she actually gets mana back if she kills something with her ult, but getting that first ult off takes a little while. So yeah, there's another Lux, yeah. Not going to help me here. And unfortunately, now Brand's not showing up. There's a Syndra, but it's only 2 out of 3 Syndras. And I'm not finding the Brand, unfortunately. So that's one issue. The other thing is, the one thing I'm missing on Lux is I don't have a mana item on her. I would really be nice if she had a Seraphs. That would help me out so, so much. And finally, I make a mistake in positioning. The Lux should be in the middle of the comp. She is the most important champion. She should not be over there because look what happens. This LeBlanc is going to focus her, and she gets knocked up in the air by Nautilus, and she actually has not ulted even one time yet. And then she dies before she gets her ult off. So I have a 1-star Brand. He doesn't do anything, and Lux doesn't get her ult off, and oh no! Woodland 6, Mage 6, how could it possibly lose? But, I mean, it actually loses pretty easily when Lux is the only one dealing damage, and she gets taken out at the start of the fight. So I needed to move Lux into the middle of my team because she was hit by the LeBlanc, and then she was hit by the Nautilus, and that was totally unnecessary. If she had just been in the middle of my team comp, she wouldn't have been hit by either of them. Again, I don't know if I win that round. I don't think I'm topping this lobby regardless, but bad positioning and not having the Brand 2-star and not having any items on Brand really, really hurt. Now, part of the reason why I didn't have the Brand 2-star, this guy's got 7 Brands over here. Human, after all, has 7 Brands, so that's part of the reason. But I did have that opportunity. He was sitting right there, and I did not grab him. I just missed him as I was cycling through. That said, Human, after all, is not winning these rounds, and the one who's been gone on a long winning streak is Insomnia Pig, so we should be thinking about him. Human, after all, is running 6 Mage, 4 Ocean, 2 Warden. This is a good setup. This is good enough to beat most players. The problem is Insomnia Ping has a stronger comp. Insomnia Ping is running... Yeah, he says I need 1 brand. He's got 8 brands right now. There are only 12 brands in the pool, so he's got 8 of the 12 right now. Of course, my brands go back into the pool after I die. Anyway, though, he's not the guy who has the stronger of the 2 comps. The stronger of the 2 comps is held by Insomnia Ping right now, so we should probably look at him. This is a Shadow 6 comp, so what does Shadow do is all of your Shadow champs get a huge damage bonus, and that damage bonus is refreshed every single time they kill a champion. So in particular, he's got the Shadow Lux back there, who's outputting insane damage, and he's also got a Master Yi with some very good items, who is getting the Shadow 6 bonus, so it's like 100%, I think it's like 120% bonus damage, and that bonus damage gets refreshed every single time you kill something. So this is pretty similar, this is probably the closest analog to the Imperial buff from set 1 of Teamfight Tactics. It's just Shadow 6 requires getting a Shadow Lux, so it's not something you can play. Does it require a Shadow Lux? I can't remember. No, it doesn't. But it's not really viable to play it otherwise. So, 165% bonus damage refreshed anytime a Shadow champion gets a takedown. So, yeah, that means it's up for the entire fight. So, a Lux with his Lux has really good items. What is it? And apparently the other guy rolled past Brand 9, so I'm not the only one doing that. But a Lux with a Seraphs is going to go off super duper fast. And his Master Yi has got really good items. He's got the Hand of Justice and a Guardian Angel, and look how fast he's attacking, yeah, and a Rage Blade. So he just goes off super fast. And remember, every single one of those Shadow units is getting 165% bonus damage. So yeah, I was not going to beat that comp, period. No way. That comp was absurdly good. Plus, he had, I didn't even mention the Senna in the background, who was buffing every single unit with the Morellos. Oh, and apparently I got some Mecha Kingdom tokens here that got captured in the recording. So anyway, this is an example. I just wanted to cast this because it's a very, very rare chance to see Woodland 6 in play. I have run into Woodland 6, I think, 2 other times. It never topped the lobby when I saw it pop up. The secret is Woodland 6 is not very good. See, you get a clone of every Woodland unit, but all the Woodland units are garbage in the late game except Lux. Lux is the only one that's any good. It's like, who cares if you have multiple Iverns? Who cares if you have multiple Malakais? They're not good in the late game. So it's gimmicky, it's silly, but it's not good. Like, it's a comp just for fun. So regardless, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a good one.